Ever wondered if it's possible to know what someone else is thinking? Imagine being able to guess if your friend prefers blue or green without them uttering a word, or predicting your colleague's next sentence before they've even started speaking. It's a fascinating concept, isn't it? That's the intrigue of mind reading. The possibility of understanding someone's thoughts, feelings, and intentions without any verbal or physical cues. Now take it a step further. What if we told you that technology is inching closer to making this possible? Yes, you heard it right. There's a growing field of technology that aims to read minds, not by magic or psychic powers, but through scientific methods and sophisticated algorithms. It's a world where computers decode brainwaves, neural networks interpret patterns, and algorithms translate these into understandable information. Sounds like science fiction, right? But it's closer to reality than you might think. So, how does a computer read our minds? It all starts with our brainwaves. Our brains are like supercomputers, constantly sending and receiving signals. These signals generate electrical activity, creating what we call brainwaves. Picture a calm lake with ripples spreading out from a pebble dropped in the center. The pebble is a thought or action, and the ripples are the brainwaves spreading through our brain. Now imagine a computer trying to interpret these ripples. This is where neural networks come in. These are like the computer's brain, designed to mimic our own. They consist of layers of artificial neurons, each layer learning from the one before it. Think of it as a game of Chinese whispers, where the message gets more refined with each whisper. These neural networks are fed information by algorithms. If neural networks are the computer's brain, algorithms are the teachers, guiding the learning process. They're like recipes, providing step-by-step instructions to help the neural network interpret the brainwaves. But how do these algorithms know what to look for? Well, they learn from vast amounts of data, identifying patterns and connections. It's like learning a new language. At first it's all gibberish, but as you hear more words, see them in context, you start to recognize patterns and meanings until you can understand and even speak the language. So, we've got our brainwaves, the computer's neural network, and the guiding algorithms. But how does this all come together in a mind-reading computer? Well, the computer uses a device like an EEG to record the patterns of your brainwaves. This is then fed into the neural network. The algorithms then help the neural network to interpret these patterns, translating them into thoughts or commands. It's like a symphony orchestra where the brainwaves are the music, the neural network is the orchestra, and the algorithms are the conductor, coordinating everything into a harmonious performance. With these components, a mind-reading computer can begin to understand our thoughts. Now that we've got the basics, let's look at how a mind-reading computer operates. Imagine a symphony orchestra. Each musician plays their instrument, contributing to the overall melody. Similarly, our brain consists of billions of neurons, each firing electrical signals and together creating a symphony of brainwaves. These brainwaves are the language of the mind, and it's this language that mind-reading technology seeks to understand. The first step in the process is scanning the brain. Just like a radio picks up different frequencies, devices like electroencephalogram or EEG machines pick up the electrical activity of the brain. They capture the orchestra of brainwaves, recording the highs and lows, the rhythms and patterns. Now we have a lot of data, but it's like having sheet music written in a language we don't understand. This is where neural networks and algorithms come into play. They act as translators, decoding the patterns of brain activity. To understand how they do this, think about how a child learns a language. They start recognizing patterns, associating words with objects or actions. Similarly, these algorithms learn by associating patterns of brain activity with specific thoughts or commands. Let's take an example. Imagine a person thinking about moving their right hand. The brain activity associated with this thought is recorded by the EEG machine. The neural network then learns to associate this specific pattern of brainwaves with the thought of moving the right hand. Over time, with more data, the algorithm becomes more accurate, eventually being able to predict when the person is thinking about moving their right hand just by looking at their brain activity. The final step is translating these predictions into understandable data or actions. In our example, the algorithm's prediction could be used to move a robotic arm, enabling a person with physical disabilities to interact with the world around them. It's a complex process, but the results can be astonishing. Mind-reading technology is like a bridge, connecting our thoughts to the digital world and opening up endless possibilities. Imagine the potential of a device that can read your thoughts. Suddenly, the world becomes more accessible for those unable to communicate verbally. With mind-reading technology, they can express their thoughts and needs, turning silent wishes into audible words. Now let's step into the realm of virtual reality. What if we could control our digital environments just by thinking? Mind-reading technology could take gaming and simulation experiences to a whole new level, making them more immersive and responsive than ever before. Think about mental health too. Diagnosing conditions like depression or anxiety often depends on self-reporting, which can be influenced by stigma, misinformation, or lack of introspection. But what if a machine could read the signs directly from our brain waves? It could provide a more accurate diagnosis, leading to more effective treatment plans. Mind-reading technology isn't just about understanding thoughts, it's about enhancing lives, breaking barriers, and opening new doors. The possibilities are endless. Of course, with great power comes great responsibility. As we venture further into the realm of mind-reading technology, we inevitably stumble upon a host of ethical considerations. One of the most pressing concerns is privacy. If our thoughts are no longer confined to the sanctuary of our minds, what does that mean for our personal freedom and security? Consent is another significant issue. Should there be regulations in place to ensure that mind-reading technology can only be used when explicit permission is given? And what about those who cannot provide consent, like children or individuals with cognitive impairments? Then comes the potential for misuse. In the wrong hands, this technology could be used for manipulation or coercion, turning an incredible tool of communication and understanding into a weapon. These are not easy questions, and they don't have simple answers. But as we continue to explore and develop this technology, they are questions we cannot afford to ignore. It's crucial to think critically about how we use such powerful technology. So, what's next for mind-reading computers? As we gaze into the crystal ball, the future of mind-reading technology promises to be nothing short of spectacular. As we refine our understanding of the human brain and enhance our computational power, these systems are poised to become more accurate, more intuitive, and more integrated into our everyday lives. Think about it. A world where communication barriers are obliterated, where our thoughts can directly interact with digital devices, or even enable us to control them. Imagine virtual reality experiences so immersive they feel like reality, driven by our minds. Consider the leaps in mental health diagnosis and treatment, where a patient's thoughts can be accurately interpreted, leading to personalized care. But let's not forget the questions this future presents. As we venture into this brave new world, we must constantly evaluate the ethical implications and strive for a balance between technological advancement and human rights. The future of mind-reading technology is a fascinating frontier, one that we're only just beginning to explore.